All right, my little wombats and my big wombats and my medium-sized wombats, we are going to do a lesson on one-point perspective. That means we're going to make this two-dimensional house into a three-dimensional house using our friend the disappearing point. Now I've created this little starter sheet for us that you can download in the description down below. Or perhaps, if you're in a class right now, your teacher has printed these out and handed them out to you. It's handy. It's not a difficult thing to draw, but it's handy to have so that we all are on the same page, literally. And you can follow along with me. You will need a ruler. It can be clear or it can be solid. And you need a pencil. And you need an eraser. And that's about it. We are going to, I'm going to pull the focus here, make sure everything's focused well. Yes, focus, you focus, camera focus, everybody focus, focus. Yeah, maybe the ruler's better for focus. Oh my gosh, that looks terrible. All right, let's get, I'm going to turn off autofocus because, okay, there we go. All right, so what we have is houses like we all used to draw in kindergarten, first grade, etc. Now we're going to go beyond. We're going to take this simple 2D shape and extrude it back into the third dimension, back into the page. I provided a disappearing point. We're going to use that. But kind of like our building exercise, our exercise that I made in the previous video, by taking those shapes and turning them into 3D objects. We're going to do that with this, but it's not going to go all the way to the disappearing point because that will be a long house. Houses generally don't stretch to infinity. So we are going to align with our disappearing point, but we're not going to go all the way there. We're going to go, I don't know, halfway, a little more than halfway there, a little more than halfway there. That is up to you. But if you remember the lesson about alignment, we are going to use our hand on our pencil to keep this place. It's a little placeholder, just like a bookmark for your paper. And we're going to rotate our ruler until it's lined up with that line. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready? Almost. Now, last time we did full strength lines. Now we're going to do construction lines. And that means you're not pushing all the way because it's not a final line. It's kind of a guiding line. We're going to do a guiding line from there to there. And then we're going to do another one from here to here. And now we're going to choose how long our house is going to be. Right? Didn't I say we're only going to go about halfway? So the other end of this house is going to be vertical, just like this side. So it's going to go, 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 go. Oop. Back up a little bit. That feels about right. Now this one, I can do full strength. So these guidelines, they're going to go away. There, now we've got the side of our house. There, we'll erase them later. But we still do need the ridge of our roof. It's going to go that way. We don't know exactly where it's going to stop yet, but we're still going to align with the same disappearing point. Let's go up to the peak of our roof and draw that in. Just go past this wall. So what does that look like? We are going to just kind of guesstimate the same slope as the front. We're just going to put that on the back, and that when that intercepts this line, that's going to tell us how long that roof line should be. So I can line up the front of my ruler here and just try and keep the same angle and carry it over. I could also line up the back of the ruler here. It's a shorter distance to go. These lines are parallel to each other, so I can just backtrack from there. Oops. Just till this line peaks over the ruler and go up until I hit the ridge line, then I stop. All right, now we don't need the rest of that line. All right, we've extruded this house shape back into the distance. That's pretty cool. But we are going to define more features on this house. Let's actually do the chimney as well. So, how far does that go? Does that go the same length of the house? Does it, it doesn't go all the way to disappearing point. Does it go that far? No, it doesn't really. Chimneys should be kind of square, so you should guesstimate about the same thickness. A thickness that makes sense in your head. You're the artist, you're the architect here. We just know it's no thicker than, it wouldn't go past this roof. That would be really thick for a chimney. So pencil on the disappearing point, bring the ruler to it, and then come up here till you get to the top corner of that chimney, and just draw a line, maybe about halfway from the point to the roof there. And now let's bring another side of our chimney down. I'm parallel with the vertical lines established by the chimney. There we go. Now it looks like a three-dimensional box sitting up there. That's what chimneys look like. All right. So let's add some features to our house, like, I don't know, a front door, maybe some windows. So where should the front door go? I think the front door should go in the middle of this wall. Yeah, that makes sense, but how do we find the middle? How do we find the middle of things? Well, I can show you. Let's do it here on this face since it's nice and flat. To find the middle of any box, be it a square or a rectangle, you draw lightly, let's lightly draw a construction line between these two corners, and now between these two corners. All right, so this is the middle of this side of the house. If I took my ruler and I went vertical, kept it vertical from the corner and just drew a line right here, that would be the middle of this wall. And guess what? It is, because it's lining up with the top of the peak of the roof right there. So there's our middle. So if we're doing it right, then yeah, it should line up with the point of that triangle. So that's nice, but this one is kind of funky shaped. It's taller on this side and it's smaller on that side because it's getting farther away from us. It's heading towards that disappearing point. Does the same trick work there? Well, just think about it. Let's transpose this x onto there, where the x is smaller here and bigger there, but they still cross in the middle. Now, is that the middle? Should I just measure from here to here? That's about 6 millimeters. So should that be 3 millimeters? Is that the middle right there? No. Even looking at it, our brains can tell us that's not the middle. It should be further that way because there's a lot more house going on and it's getting smaller as it goes away. Let's see where the x goes. Corner to corner. Remember, you guys can pause at any time if I start going too fast for you. If you want to take a minute to draw your x lightly. All right, well that is not 3 millimeters. That's like 4.5. Sorry, centimeters. Did I say millimeters? How imperial of me. Okay. So, because it's getting farther away, we're seeing more of this half of the shape and less of that half. So we could take our vertical line, hit my tape, vertical line, and that gives us the center of the front side of our house. We've got the center line marked on both faces. So, how about our door? Now let's draw. If we want the door centered on this line, we can draw one line on this side, one line on that side, such that it gives us the width of the door. So, let's draw about half as wide as you think a door should be to the left of this line. And we're actually going to go all the way up to the roof. And there's a reason for that. The reason for that is that we're going to mirror this line on the other side of that line. And how to do that? We draw a line through the middle, which we have marked by this X. So if we draw a line from the top of here through the middle, and then wherever it hits the ground down here is going to be the corresponding half of the door that's a little farther away from us, because we know this half is going to be a little bigger than that half. So we can't just measure it and put the same thing over there. Pencil my new alignment point, which is the top of this line. We're going to go through our X lightly, because we're going to erase this line, and that touches the ground right there. And that gives us how wide our door is. When we draw a vertical line from there up to the roof. All right, see all these lines? Look at all these crazy construction lines. We don't really need them. Erase those, gives us our door. Doors do not reach all the way up to the top of our wall. They go about, let's guesstimate. How tall should the door be? Should it be half as tall as the wall? No, it should be taller than half. Not just halfway up the wall. Well, there's the top. Now we can reinforce the lines we're confident about to the sides of our door. And we stop at the top of the door. Don't go all the way up with our lines. There we go. I can even strengthen the ground here a little bit. One side, two side. All right, both sides. And there's our door, which is centered. It might not appear to be centered, but taking perspective into account, it is centered. Because this chunk of wall is bigger to us than that chunk of wall. All right, let's reinforce this line. Align with the disappearing point. There we go. All right, how about a window? How about a window on that wall? Well, we can take the top of our door. Here's a little hint. Tops of windows and tops of doors are almost always the same. So we can just put a guiding line right where we had the top of our door. So we know the top of our window is going to be there. But the window doesn't go all the way to the ground. Not in a typical house like this. It should only go about halfway down. So let's do another guiding line. Two on both sides of the door, so we'll do it just like that. So the bottom of our window is going to be somewhere along there. The top is going to be somewhere there. And where? Well, that's up to you. Let's just make a window shape by drawing one side and the other side. Shouldn't come all the way to the corner of the house. There we go. There's our window. Now we can firm up this one. Top of the window, bottom of the window. We got a door and we got a window. How about a window on the far side? Well, we can do that too. This window's going to be smaller, obviously. So skip a decent amount from the door and a decent amount from the wall. There we go. Two windows. No waiting. All right, how about on this wall? Should there be a window? Yeah, it should. It should be at the same height as these also. So should I make it just as high? Come here. Just as high as this window? I could line it up with the top of this window. Well, no, because this wall is even a little closer than the edge of that window. If that window was sliding along and it went over and it touched the corner, it would actually touch right here, where our guiding line intersects with that blue line there. So that's where we place the guide for the top of the windows on this wall. And same with the bottom. The bottom touches down about there. And that makes sense. Things on this wall, let me make sure I'm parallel with the ground. Go up. Whoosh. So that makes sense. These windows should be a little bit bigger than even the biggest side of that window. All right, put one window here, two windows there. Let's put one big window. I'm going to do that. Let's use our X again. See where the X intercepts our window guideline? Let's just draw straight down from there. Boom. And because we're using our X, we know that this window is centered, because that intersection is just as far from that side as this intersection is from that side. So we're centered. That's a big window. That's okay. A big picture window. They like the view outside. Now we can clean up these construction lines, these guidelines that we had. There we go. There we go. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Now let's firm up a couple of these lines. I'm going to draw that one darker, and I erased part of this one, so I'll put it back. So what happens? Sometimes you over erase and you just put it back again. No big deal. Alright. Still in the middle marked, I don't know. Alright. Our house with our window, our door. So, doorknob, boop. You can just freehand the doorknob. Alright, so what's in front of this house? Like a yard, like a sidewalk? A sidewalk is interesting because that actually will go all the way to the disappearing point. Because who knows where the sidewalk ends? Alright, keep your pencil right there. Line up your ruler, and let's just give some space for the front yard, but then send our line all the way from the disappearing point down here. That's one side of the sidewalk. How thick should the sidewalk be? It's getting real close to us about here. How about yay? Yay. Sidewalk. That actually points out that that disappearing point is on our horizon line. Let's just lightly, for now, put in the horizon line. That's just a horizontal line, parallel to the top and bottom of your paper, that runs through the disappearing point and goes behind the house, because the horizon is obstructed by our house. All right. Now, how about a little walkway from the front door to the house? Well, what would that be? If it's straight, it would just be a horizontal line. So line that up with the bottom corner of your door. Send it this way. And then the near side, we're going to do the same thing. That's awful skinny. Well, it is what it is. From our point of view, looking over there at that walkway, that's how thin it would be. Because it's just as wide as the door. See, it touches both corners of the door, but looking at it on angle like this, it's much thinner than the door. Like the door is kind of facing us versus the walkway is slanted away from us. All right. So can we make this look a little less stark? Sure. Let's put a bush here, make a little cloud shape, and then erase the corner of the house that's behind it. How about another bush right here? That's nice. 2 bushes. Who wouldn't want 2 bushes? Just erase the house. All right, that's good. Whoa, what's this over here? Does anybody notice there's a little smaller end of a house? Well, what do you think that's for? Is it a baseball home plate? No, it's a little dog house or a little wombat house. If this person has a pet wombat, I don't know if you really do have pet wombats, but all right, a line, and we're just going to go for a bit. We're going to go maybe an inch. Stop. Even that might be too far. That looks a little too deep for a wombat house in my book. How long did I go? I went about an inch, a little bit more. Okay, so now we can do some construction lines because we don't know exactly where the end is. We're going to go lightly from that corner. Now go lightly from this corner. Now we can decide. It's easier to decide with the vertical. How how far back should this wombat house go? How about there? That's pretty good. Drop the vertical. And the vertical will tell us where this diagonal will go. So I'm going to go parallel with that until I get the corner. Fire that in. All right. And get rid of these construction lines. All right, little dog house, little pet house. They need a door to get in, don't they? All right, let's draw a big old mouse hole shaped door. Here we go. We can just freehand this. We're all friends here. There we go. Not perfect, a little leaning that way. That's okay. So if that's open, we're going to make it look like an opening. That means we need to give this cutout a little thickness. We would see the inside there, huh? So we line up with a disappearing point and go to right, the first bottom corner of that cutout, and just draw short little short little line, because that's only the thickness of whatever wood this is made out of. And so now when we're going to draw the same curve, we're going to push it over and mirror it. So it doesn't go straight over, it kind of goes back. So up and over. And we drop that in, and that creates the thickness of this wood. So now it looks like it's cut out and you can go in there. But we're actually missing something else. What would we see? If this was open air, we would see something. We would see this corner. We would see that inside corner. So, like everything, it obeys the disappearing point. Put our pencil at the disappearing point, align with the bottom left corner of the doghouse, and then just inside the door, from one side of the door to the other, draw that line. Now it looks like we can see in there, huh? Maybe there's a little bowl of water or something right here. Boop. All right, I'm going to darken this line there. Okay. We've done it. We've got a 3D house, a 3D doggy house. And it looks like they're living all alone here. What if there's another house a little further away? What would that look like? Well, if the front is aligned with the front of this house, then it would go on the same line here. And draw another front of the house. We're not going to be too worried about how big it is. It's not going to be exactly the same length. So let's draw one corner, and we'll draw the other corner. And now, if it's the same height, then its roof line will line up with that one. And see, things get a little weirder the closer we get to the disappearing point. Whoa! It's really short on that side, really big on that side. That makes this house look a lot longer than this one, so I think we're going to backtrack a little. Let's backtrack a little. That's too long. Why the long house? All right, erase. Erase that too. So how about we're actually going to draw this face of the house. Let's send it that way, but we're not going to see the whole thing because it's hidden behind there. And the ridge is going to be somewhere lined up with this one. Draw a construction line. All right, let's copy this slope, copy that slope, go over to this corner, and where that intersects the roof line must be where that roof ends. Erase this. There we go, we've got it. Now we can mirror this slope, see if we can carry it all the way over there. We'll get close enough. Keep going, stay on target, keep going, stay on target, stay, step, keep, start, stay. There we go, close enough. And that's just going to go somewhere behind that house. It's confusing seeing the horizon through that house. Well, now it's obscured, isn't it? It is obscured, but not the horizon right here. No. There we go. Let's do the far edge of the roof by mirroring that slope. All right, look at that, 2 houses. And they're obeying the rules of perspective, because one house is much bigger than the other. But that's just what you see with your eyes when you look down the block. Let's see. Even 2 houses that are the same height will look completely different on this. If you're thinking in terms of 2 dimensions, but think of 3 dimensions, you can tell that they are the same. So, since they're matchy-matchy, the top of their door will be the same as the top of our door. And their walk is going to be the same too. Can I find the middle the same way by making an X? I can. It's getting a little small here, so I'm just going to put a little X in the middle, even though it's lined up. Alright, that tells me that's where the center of our door is. Actually, shouldn't have drawn that so dark because I'm going to draw the two sides of the door. Alright, now I know about where it is. We're getting real small here, so you kids at home might not be able to draw exactly what I'm drawing here, but we can get a little loosey-goosey because it's so far away. We're just filling in some details. How about the bottoms of the windows? We'll line up with the bottoms of these windows because it's the same house. So do a little guideline there. Now let's just guesstimate those windows. One like that, one like that, one here, one there. And now, try not to erase everything, or if we do, we can draw it back. We've got our windows. So sometimes you end up drawing the same lines more than once, but that's because now we know exactly where they should start and stop. Start und stop. I think just guesstimating, I think I probably made that door too thick. It should be much thinner back there, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. But I am going to give them a path to the sidewalk because that would make sense that they would have one too. Very skinny, but there it is. What about the doggy? Does doggy get a path to the sidewalk? Or the wombat? Maybe it does. Let's give him a nice wide walk. I'm just going to go. I'm actually going to go past the little part where I put the food bowl. I'm just going to make it a random thickness. And I'm going to determine the edge of that. It's like a little concrete pad for the dog to run around on. Using the disappearing point. So that edge, well, that edge goes straight through the house. That's no good. We're going to put it beyond the house. So I'm lined up with my disappearing point. And that gives us the back side of this little concrete pad. And that goes off the page. That's okay. We'll just send this guy off the page. Get off the page. There we go. So you see these three walkways are all playing along. And they're obeying the same rules. How about a big old bush back here? Oh my goodness, look at that. Let's add some organic shapes to our drawing. Let's put a cloud in here. Looks like a bush in the sky. Why are they bushes in the sky? I don't know. It's crazy. No, they're clouds. Just clouds. You know what? This is really bugging me. I can see that. I would see this big old window on that wall. So I'm going to figure out where it should be by lining up our disappearing point with the top of these windows. There's the top. There's the bottom. So now I can do a horizontal line. Cross here. Lightly, gently, gently, lightly. And now I'm going to guesstimate that distance over. Kind of like that. I'm going to say this window is so long we don't see the other side of it, so I send it behind house number 1. Whoa. That should be thicker. Just eyeballing it, I can tell that should be thicker. I'm going to drop that line in. We don't do things perfectly every time. Sometimes you need to draw it to see that it's wrong. And then you redraw it. So once you've got things firmed up, then you can really start drawing heavy, doing custom things like doorknobs, bushes. Let's do a big bush. Maybe there's a big tree or something over there. Uh-oh. I'm blocking the horizon line again. All right. Now you can just add whatever features you like. Get rid of these construction lines we don't need anymore. Recording time had been reached, and it just went ahead and turned itself off on me. Not cool, but hopefully we didn't miss too much, because then this wouldn't really line up with what you guys saw me doing. So we can come back here and darken up our lines, erase our construction lines, customize, add color, add bushes, whatever you like. So here we go. 1 point perspective.